And welcome back to Go Baby Go TV. I'm Louie Hillman, joined by my partner, the Optimist guy, Bryan Setzler. And today's episode, we're talking about the ninth wonder of the world. Bryan, Albert Einstein famously said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. All right, very good. So what the heck is the ninth wonder of the world?
Well, I think it's the idea that instead of the compound interest, that you have uninterrupted growth on a financial instrument. So instead of just saying it's an interest number, it could be a growth number or an index credit or something like that. But the key is for it to be uninterrupted.
Yeah, uninterrupted compounding interest is really the ninth wonder of the world. But let's go back for a second, right? So when we're talking about compound interest, what types of accounts are people usually referring to in explaining that idea or that concept?
Well, if you think about it, I mean, everybody has an IRA or a 401k. So as those accounts grow, they continue to grow and over time until they lose money or until they have to take money out of the account, right? There's no tax drag while the money is there. So since it's the kind of account that most people have, most people would be familiar with that, right? Many people own non-qualified annuity products that are also tax deferred. Those continue to compound based on the way the product is constructed, whether it be a variable product, a fixed product, or an index product. They all work a little differently, but essentially the idea of compounding value is true until such time as you either, again, sustain a loss or withdraw money, right?
Yeah, and the concept is quite simple, right? If you don't have to pay taxes, you have more compounding and growing inside of this account, which is really the promise of a traditional retirement plan. Because you don't have to pay taxes along the way, you get to earn more money as you grow that account and grow your savings.
Exactly. The money compounds on itself and the earnings compound on itself, and it translates to the easy way to think about it is how many times will money double during a person's accumulation stage of their life? You know, there's something called the rule of 72, which is an easy way to talk about it. You know, so if your money is earning 8%, then every 9 years, you divide 8 into 72, the answer is 9. If your money earns 6%, the answer is 12. If you earn 12, the answer is 6. Anyway, that's how many years it takes for your money to double. To me, I always thought that it's the last double that makes somebody wealthy, you know? So for example, 500,000 turns to 1 million, then 2 million, then 4 million, but it's that $8 million one that all of a sudden that's a big number now. So the real question is, how many times can you get money to double during your lifetime? And that will determine how wealthy you are when you die.
So the secret is live long.
Yeah, you gotta live super long. I lived 120.
Well, what are the things that would interrupt, right? We're saying uninterrupted compounding interest is the ninth wonder of the world, but what are the key things, and we've kind of alluded to them, that would interrupt the effect of compounding interest?
Well, taxes would be a drag if it's in a taxable environment, and certainly in real life, people should usually need to spend some portion of their nest egg for their living expenses when they retire, right? So any withdrawals, distributions would interrupt the compounded effect inevitably because they need to spend the money, okay? So certainly there are other kinds of products that we specialize in. Certain categories of permanent life insurance grow tax-free as well. And there is another device by which to access that growing account value called a participating loan.
Yeah, and it's, if you just do a quick Google search and type in the words uninterrupted compounding interest, you'll find information about Roth accounts, right? So Roth accounts, of course, don't have any taxes due at distribution, but what they do have and what they do suffer in terms of this idea of compounding interest, it's interrupted because when you take money out of the account, you lose the earning power of those dollars, right? And what you're talking about is the only benefit in financial services that I'm aware of that allows you to take distributions without reducing your earning power on those dollars. And that's the participating loan of a cash value life insurance policy. How the heck can they do that? How is it possible?
Well, I mean, we can explain the pricing. The insurance company sets a loan rate. The loan rate is based on the average interest rate that the insurance company earns, okay? And that generally is representative of what is charged to the consumer. So for example, if the consumer borrows $100,000 out of the policy, if the loan rate is 4.5 or 5%, the reason it's 4.5 or 5% is because 4.5 or 5% is very close to the yield that the insurance company is earning net of expenses on its portfolio of fixed income securities in the first place. So that's not magic, that's how they price it. The magic part is that behind the scenes, if the account itself is expected to earn far more than the cost of that loan, the combination of index credits, bonuses, and any multiplier in the product, it may well be that what's backing up that loan, the consumer should expect to earn maybe 2% on average more than the cost of that loan. And that is really important. It's very hard for just sitting around talking about it to realize how important that is, but the impact, the financial consequence of a consumer earning more than the cost of the loan is a very powerful tool.
Yeah, and just the example that you're giving, right? When the client is receiving $100,000, right? Non-reportable income, right? It's tax-free distribution from their life insurance policy through a participating loan. Their accumulated value or account value, insurance companies use different terms for this, is not reduced based on that distribution. Your payable death benefit is being reduced by the $100,000 loan and the interest that you're being charged, but your participation in the underlying indexes, most of them are S&P 500 strategies, does not reduce by $100,000. So it creates the only true uninterrupted compounding interest because there's no loss for taxes. There's no loss for the distributions in terms of earning power. And there's really limited or no risk of loss in the market or the equity market because your account value is protected at the insurance company.
Exactly. You have an annual reset feature that prevents any catastrophic loss. A year like 2008 in the capital markets with a negative 42%, and a product like this, we're talking about a zero interest rate. Isn't zero better than negative 42? You know?
Well, and furthermore, when you determine your crediting or your interest that you're going to earn for the next 12 months, you benefit from the new lower benchmark. That's your starting point for determining your returns for the next year, not having to first recover the losses in an equity portfolio to get back to gaining.
Precisely. It's very hard for people to understand this, but once they do, the light bulb goes off and they realize the combination of the stability, the no tax, and this uninterrupted compounding dynamic you're describing is really a very powerful thing to help consumers prepare for retirement. No question.
So it's, in summary, Bryan, it's not just taxes that kill the compounding growth of money, but also distributions.
Yes, the category of distribution. And most people don't realize that there's any alternative other than simply to take a withdrawal from an account. That's the difference. Are you going to withdraw money, which means the money's not there any longer to compound on itself? Or B, can you borrow against a growing asset balance so you continue to get the benefit of that growing asset? And so that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, great stuff. We hope you subscribe, and we'll be back here next Monday to continue to rev up your week and turbocharge your sales. Make it a great day.